What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. So if you're watching this video, it's pretty much the caption of this video is probably you are the captain of your ship. And when I say you're the captain of your ship, that's what Schneider goes by. They will tell you you're the captain of that ship, meaning you have the right to shut down. You know, pretty much that's it. You're the one in control of it. You're the one who controls where it goes, how fast it goes, when it moves, meaning you're the captain. You control everything. Since I've been here with Schneider for 5 months, I can honestly say I don't believe that. That's bullshit. And the reason I say that, you're not really the captain of this ship. You're more like the co-pilot of this ship. You know, they want you to run the shit the way they say do it, and you just gonna do it, pretty much. So here's an instance that happened to me. I was sitting on a 34-hour reset. Long story short, I was scheduled to pick up a load. Let's say, for example purposes, I was scheduled to pick up this load, let's say on a Tuesday. I was scheduled to pick this load up on a Tuesday, and when I look in the tablet, it says this place is open 24 hours. So you tell me the place is open 24 hours, I'm gonna show up there, you know, when I can. So I get to this location at 6:30 in the afternoon. It's a Pedigree, is it a Pedigree? Or it's a Premier Truck Group location out in Odessa. So I show up there, there's people leaving out of the gate, but that's where the cars go, not for the trucks. So I flagged down one of the guys and I said, hey, I need to get inside and get this trailer y'all have back there. I'm with Schneider. He's like, oh, you have to call the after hours number. I'm like, you know, can you just let me in so I can just go get it and be out your hair? No, you got to call the after hours number. All right, no problem. I called the after hours number. Dude was like, if you want me to come out there and open that gate, you got to pay me $100 cash. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, it's after hours, so if for us to come out, you need to pay me $100 cash. I'm like, okay, well, you want $100 cash, you need to call Schneider, because I'm not giving you none of my money. You know, I don't get paid for that. So at that time, like I said, I think I had about 45 minutes left on my clock. So once he said that bull crap, I wasn't even trying to hear it. So I drove over, and I was bobtail this whole time. I drove over to a pilot and shut down. And then once I shut down, I had about, what, 35 minutes left on my 11, and I had about 4 hours, or maybe 4.5 hours left on my 70. Pretty much meaning, okay, I was gonna sit there and do a 34-hour reset, because from Odessa to Laredo was a little under 500 miles, and the way that it was trying to route me from Odessa to Laredo, it was nothing but back roads. So I mean, it was gonna take a good little minute. And so whenever you get an assignment through the Schneider Tablet, it'll pretty much give you an estimate of when you would arrive, right, going off of the amount of hours you have left. So like I said, for example purposes, if this was a Tuesday, when I looked at the assignment, it was saying I would have it there Friday, right? So with me, I'm like, okay, and with my understanding, it seemed like they was planning me or estimating me to do a 34-hour reset before I even picked up the load, or maybe right after I got it and shut down and do a 34. So what I was planning to do was to pick up the trailer and then go ahead and park, and I was going to do a 34 under it. So once I got my hours back to drive 34 hours later, then I would go ahead and just go ahead and run it, you know. And like I said, if you've seen my previous videos, I run my hours down. I run that clock out, man. So, you know, it wouldn't have been a problem. Pretty much the same thing I do every other day, you know. And so the next morning I get a call from Schneider. They're blowing my phone up. I'm in here asleep. You know, it's like 7:05 in the morning. You know, the details come in at 7 o'clock. They're blowing my shit up. And at that time, I already had a pre-assignment picking up from Laredo going to PA, which was an 1,800-mile run, right? So, you know, like that whole week, they was pre-assigning me back to back from like that Saturday up until that Tuesday. I'm talking about I had pre-assignments ready, so I already knew what was coming next. And you know, with me going to Laredo, if you're familiar with how freight moves, Laredo, most of the stuff is either coming from Mexico or going to Mexico, you know. So from there, after I delivered that load that I was picking up from the Premier Truck Group, dropping that in Laredo. I already had an 1,800-mile pre-assignment from Laredo to PA. So, you know, I'm sitting here like, okay, that's what's up. You know, because they've only done it maybe twice in the 5 months that I've been with them, to where they had my pre-assignments back to back to back to back, to where I already knew what was going to happen next. So that morning they called and they were like, hey, it looks like you're trying to do a 34 on this load and we need this load moved. So I need you to just go ahead and start your pre-trip and go ahead and start heading east towards San Antonio. And I told him, I said, well, you know, I understand, but I don't have the hours to move this truck, and it doesn't make sense for me to move this truck in the amount of time that I have, because I have 4 hours, pretty much meaning I can drive 180 miles to about 240 miles, you know what I'm saying, until I have to shut down. And in that time frame, there's no actual place I can make it to. I couldn't make it to San Antonio or to the Converse drop lot, which is what they were trying to make me do. And when I told them that, they were like, okay, well, just go ahead and start your pre-trip and just start heading east, and, you know, we'll go from there. And I told them, I said, well, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to move the truck. You know, it doesn't make sense money-wise for me, because I only have 4 hours left on my 70. So if I move this truck right now, I have 4 hours to pretty much get somewhere else from here where I'm already sitting at. And I'm already 17 hours into a 34-hour reset. So you're telling me I need to move 4 hours east and hope I can find somewhere to park. And even if I find somewhere to park, then I have to do a 34, pretty much start it all over again. So money-wise, that don't make sense. For me, it doesn't make sense. It don't make sense to move this truck for 4 hours to restart a 34-hour reset when I'm already 17 hours in it. And I think any driver that has any common sense would probably think the same thing, you know. So then they go on this long rant about, oh, you're not understanding. This is a Amazon load. We're in jeopardy of losing this account. I need you to move that truck with this. I need you to move that truck to move this trailer. And I mean, I pretty much stood my ground, you know. And at the time, I wasn't thinking like, well, you know, I'm the captain of this ship, you know. So y'all say. So I'm not gonna move this truck no matter what you say, you know. And it got to a point to where that particular DTL, I'm not gonna say any names, that particular DTL pretty much was like, well, if you're not gonna move this truck, we're gonna go ahead and take your 1,800 mile run off of you. And I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, you're sitting here not answering the phone, so I've already had them take it off of you. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what to tell you. You're the only truck in that area. We need this thing moved. And it's like, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but you're not understanding that I'm not gonna risk my money, do y'all any favors. It's gonna cost me any money. Because since I've been here, it's been a couple times where they've asked for favors, and it was favors that didn't cost me any money, you know, maybe 2 or 3 minutes worth of my time. And the only thing they're really gonna ask you is, hey, can you go check and see if this trailer's on the yard? If it is on the yard, it's supposed to have been a relay. Can you check to see if there's paperwork in it? If there is paperwork or isn't any paperwork in it, can you check to see if there's a seal on it? If there is or isn't, can you check to see if there's any freight inside of it? If there is, can you text me a picture of what's inside the trailer? That's happened to me a couple times. That right there, I have no problem doing it. Just that does not cost me any money. It does not cost me, you know, no time. But when you're asking me to drive 4 hours when I'm already 17 hours into a 34-hour reset, that don't make no sense to me. And that right there shows me and tells me you've never been a driver before. Okay? And so pretty much from that, them taking away my 1,800 mile run was pretty much the first instance of showing retaliation. At least that's how I took it, right? So long story short, me and this particular DTL couldn't get it. You know, she couldn't get through her head that I wasn't moving the truck. And I mean, I didn't know what else to tell her. And so they was like, well, I'm gonna just have, you know, another higher up person call you. So hour later, another higher up person called me, and he pretty much tried the same thing. I need you to move this truck. Told him straight up, look here, I'm gonna tell you the same thing I told, you know, such and such. I'm not moving the truck. It does not make sense money wise for me to move this truck when I only have 4 hours left on my 70. I mean, I'm not gonna move the truck. So then this person goes say, okay, so what's your plan? I said, well, I get my hours back at 6 o'clock in the morning. So the place opens up at 8 o'clock. So I will be there for 8 o'clock, hook up to the trailer. I'll have it delivered, you know, tomorrow, compared to, except for, you know, the tablet was having me to deliver it by, I think Friday. I was gonna have it delivered a day earlier than what was predicted on this, you know, tablet or whatever. So then the dude just goes to say like, oh, well, did you call your DTL to tell them you were going to take a 34? I shouldn't have to call you, because I update my hours every day or after every load pretty much. So I'm not finna call you to say, hey, how you doing, daddy? I'm finna take a fucking 34-hour reset. Like, come on now. Like, you don't have to sit there and ask me if I called somebody to tell them I'm gonna take a 34. I'm an OTR driver. I stay out 4 weeks at a time. I take a 34-hour reset once a week. You know, it's never been an issue and now you're trying to make it an issue, So pretty much after that, the next morning comes, I get up, go pick up the load, driving pretty much on the border of Mexico all day, pretty much from that 8 o'clock in the morning to pretty much, I believe I got the load delivered around 4 or 5, because I'm driving through pretty much back towns that are like, it's border patrol everywhere. And I finally get into an area where I had signal, because pretty much that whole ride I had no signal. And I get a voicemail from them, was like, hey, you're on this load, I need you to keep your head to the ground and run it, you can't stop. I mean, like, they was really trying me. And and I'm usually one of them ones, I try to shrug this shit off, like, maybe you're having a bad day or something, but it was really getting to me, because it's like the longer that I stayed with the company, it's like the more they start trying to show me the bullshit that they was hiding. You know what I'm saying? Because when I first came in, there was no problems. I mean, it was like a cakewalk. Like, I can't even explain how easy it seemed to be. But it's like the longer I stayed here, then it started being bull crap after bull crap after bull crap. And so, long story short, I get this load delivered, and then I probably say 2 days go by. The next thing you know, I get an email with a commitment to excellence, pretty much saying that about 2 weeks ago, somebody called in claiming that I ran 3 red lights. Come on now. So you gonna sit here and tell me that somebody called you and said you have an 18-wheeler driver out here with this truck number, this trailer number, that's out here running red lights? It's pretty much what you're trying to tell me. So when I had the conversation with them, I told them straight up, you must be as dumb as the motherfuckers you claim to call that shit in, because you're not gonna sit here and tell me that I'm sitting out here running red lights. That don't make no sense. And I told them straight up, I feel like you're retaliating against me now, because that's exactly what it seems like. And even though I got the reassurance that is not retaliation, and like I told him, if this was a perfect world, I would believe you. But it's not a perfect world. And now it seems like now you're trying to make a paper trail of wrongdoings that I'm out here doing. Like, come on, man, get out of here. So pretty much from that right there, I was pretty much in my head, I'm like, all right, I'm done. Because if I don't quit, they're gonna run me off, pretty much. So a couple more days pass by, my home time is coming up. A day before my home time, boom, the day before my home time, I'm already in Houston. So I'm thinking they do what they usually do, have me between Houston and Dallas until my home time is actually here. Then they give me a load from Dallas, more than likely P&G coming to Houston, and I'm good. That's pretty much what they've been doing the last 5 months. I figured they'd keep doing that, right? So day before I'm supposed to be home, get a load from Houston or Baytown going to Kansas City. I'm not complaining, I usually give them, a day's, like, okay, a day late, I'm not complaining, because we was told, or at least I was told, if I need to get home, give them a 7 days notice, right? 7 days notice. If it's an appointment time, give them a 14-day notice, right? All right. Like I said, I stay out 4 weeks at a time. So the day that I come back out over the road is when I put in my home time. So that means I give them a 4 weeks notice before it's, when I want to go home, and then I'll remind them a week before my time to go home. So this time I've been out 5 weeks. So pretty much I've given you 5 weeks notice when I want to go home. I've also, and within a week, I remind them, yeah, don't forget, I'm supposed to be home on this particular day, And so the day before I'm supposed to be home, boom, load up to Kansas. I'm not even complaining. That's 800, 700, between somewhere right there, a mile run. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm not complaining. But once I got up there, I realized, damn, now I got to do a 34-hour reset up here. So I sat up in Kansas and did a 34-hour reset. And then once my 34-hour reset was up at 2 a.m. I usually don't run that early. The earliest I would get up is maybe between 5 and 6. Unless it's a Saturday and I know I can get this load delivered early in the morning, then I'll get up around 4, get it unloaded so I can have my next load, because pretty much come the weekends on the evenings, you're really not going to get another load. And they'll tell you that too. They'll tell you, oh yeah, well, you're not going to get another load, so just go, find somewhere to park. So I get up to Kansas, do my 34-hour reset, I get my next load. picking up from a Clorox location that was like 30 miles from where I was parked. And I took the initiative to call these people. I said, hey, are you guys open, 24 hours? You're like, yeah. I'm like, so if I come up there, at any time between, let's say, 3 a.m. and 6 a.m., y'all will load me. So I gave him the load number that he needed to verify the shipment. And he was like, yeah, man, you were scheduled to be here yesterday. So whenever you get here, we'll go ahead and load you up. I'm like, all right, cool. So that next morning, got up at 2 o'clock. Like I said, I do not like running that early. Got up at 2 o'clock, went on down, got loaded, had me loaded in about 30 minutes, rode on from Kansas to Dallas. And I'm telling you, man, it was raining the whole time. So by the time I got to Dallas, I had 20 minutes left on my clock. Because I got into Dallas like between 3 and 4. The rush hour started hitting, and people, accidents after accidents, these non-essentials out here doing dumb shit. So, I finally get to the Dallas yard, 20 minutes left on my clock. All right, I already know I don't have enough time to get home, right? So now it's the next day is July 3rd. All right, July 3rd, I'm supposed to have been home 2 days ago. July 3rd, I'm like, all right, cool. So I got to Dallas around 4 o'clock. That means and I got my hours back around 10 a.m. No, I'm tripping. 2 a.m. So I'm like, all right, whatever load I get, more than likely gonna be a P&G. P&G is open 24 hours. Drop somewhere in Houston, either to the Houston OC or, maybe it's dropping hook. Majority of P&Gs that I've had are dropping hooks. So, go and drop it, and hey, I'm good. I can go home and enjoy, the plans that I made for my couple off days. Well, I get a load assignment at 1:50 a.m. picking up at P&G, but it's going to Tyler, and this is a 97-mile run. So I'm sitting here like, well, damn, what the fuck is this? I'm supposed to be home a couple days ago, and now y'all playing with me. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe they're just trying to give me some miles before I just get home, So starting my clock at 2 o'clock in the morning, right? Go to P&G, which is only like 2 miles up the road from the Dallas OC. Pick up the P&G. I run up to Tyler. Take me about an hour and a half. I get it there, drop it. The load is delivered at 5:30. 6 o'clock, I get another pre-assignment. Got to go back to the Houston OC. But then now this load is going to New Caney, which is right outside of Houston. So that's my load to go home, right? I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm booking it. Don't forget, this truck is governed. So it ain't like I'm just doing 80, 90, 100 miles per hour and shit. The truck is governed at 63. This particular truck I'm in would not go faster than 61. I told him about the issue, never been fixed. Oh well, this truck made me money, so I'm not complaining, But I mean, you tell me I'm governed at 63, I would like to get my 63 out of it. So get back to Dallas OC. I'm looking in the tablet for the trailer number. Trailer number's not there. This time it's 8 o'clock. I called in, hey, I need that trailer number for this relay that I'm on, so I can go ahead and get up out of here. Oh well. It looks like this load hasn't even been assigned. You're on the back end, like as if I don't know what the fuck a relay is. You're on the back end of the load, so pretty much somebody's supposed to pick up the load, go get it loaded on the trailer, and then bring it to Dallas, and then that's where you're gonna take it from there to New Caney. I'm like, okay, so what's the plan then? Oh well, let me get in touch with the planners. Call the planners. Oh well, this is the only load that we have available that will get you home. So I'm like, all right, so what am I supposed to do? You gotta wait. All right, cool. I went to sleep. Like I said, I've been up driving since 2 a.m. I went to sleep. 11 o'clock came. Now I'm on my 14. 6 hours left on my 14. Right? So I call him back. Hey, what's going on with this load? Oh, well, it looked like it was finally assigned. We got the trailer number. And I'm like, all right, cool. What's the trailer number? Put it in, tracked it. Says it was in the driveway 14 minutes ago, right? I'm like, all right, cool, bye. I'm driving around. I done drove around to where we have the empty trailers, the loaded trailers, the high value trailers, where the drivers park just to come in and park for the night. I done went to the shop. I went behind the shop, in front of the shop, on left the shop. You know what I'm saying? I'm driving this whole, I done went to the student training area. Still no trailer with that trailer number. Call them back. Hey, we need to get in touch with this driver. I need to know where this trailer is so I can get up out of here. All right, well, let me see. Do whatever you got to do. He can't find no information on this driver. I'm like, okay, so now what? Oh, well, I don't mean to make you mad or piss you off, but it seemed like that trailer might have just been leaving. I'm like, what? this trailer might have just been leaving the yard at, you know, that last time when we looked. I'm like, wow. So I'm pretty much gonna have to sit here and wait. You know, like, y'all don't have nothing else for me. No, they said that's all they got for you to get you home. I'm like, all right. So 2 more hours passed by. It's now 4 o'clock. And like I said, if you've seen my other videos, you already know I've already been frustrated and irritated with this company because it seems like they've been retaliating against me. And this is pretty much the detailed version of what really made my decision up to leaving this company. So I get I called back 2 hours later. I said, hey, am I getting any detention pay for sitting here waiting on this load? And what he said was, well, we don't usually pay detention pay on a relay. And the way I took it is, we don't do that and we ain't gonna start today. I said, all right, cool. Hung up. I went and used the restroom and I dropped the trailer, the empty trailer that I had. I bobtailed home and I cleaned the truck out. I'm still in the truck because now I'm finna go return it. Finna go return the tablet, truck, keys, and the fuel card because I'm officially done with the big orange. I'm done. Just like that. I have a low tolerance for bullshit. And when I say low tolerance for bullshit, shit happens. I understand that. You know, but when it's man-made issues and when I talk to other drivers and, you know, I bring the scenario up to them, they're like, man, they retaliating hard against you. And I'm just like, damn, like, I see it, but I'm trying not to believe it, you know, because I don't want to feel like this type of company I work for, because anybody can call in for any reason, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to, oh, you got a driver out here doing this and doing that, and they'll believe it. The first incident where somebody called in on me, I was accused of running somebody off the road. And when I talked to him, I told him, I said, well, you know, the person was like, yeah, he's in a construction zone speeding, and he needed to merge, and he just ran somebody off the road. And I said, well, no, you know, I was trying to merge, and the idiot that was stopping me from merging, because there was a lot of space behind me, was literally just sitting here. Motherfucker had about maybe 100 feet in front of him, but they was just sitting there on their phone. You know, I said, hi, I can see inside your vehicle. And I'm very horn friendly, so I toot this motherfucking horn. I'm talking about honk, honk. I'm holding that motherfucker on their ass. And the person just like looks up and, you know, was surprised because I was right there on that ass. And they just like moved off to the shoulder and was like, so I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you ain't got to do all that, you know? Because at first, I thought they were like trying to swerve or something to make it seem like, you know, oh, I'm giving you enough space or some bullshit. And I'm looking, and the motherfucker just like moves off to the shoulder, and I'm just like, okay, you a dumbass. So, you know, I went about my business. You know, I'm in the construction zone. They're repaving the highway or whatever. So, I mean, you know, it's probably, I don't remember the exact road texture or some shit. But it seems like that particular person that called in was like, yeah, you got a driver out here speeding in the construction zone. He just ran somebody off the road and he's all over the place. Come on now. And like I tell him, I keep a dash cam running in this truck at all times because I cover my own ass. When I drove local, you know, I kept a dash cam in the truck for shit like this to happen. So then I can say, okay, so now I have the dash cam footage. So, but you already did your reprimands of me or disciplined me your way. So now what? Because obviously you'll sit there and listen to anybody who call in. And I mean, anybody call in could be anybody. It could be another driver that, hey, I was going slow. It could be old, you know, ex-Grunnels driver. They used to drive for this company, you know. But they don't look at that shit. Like I said, they think it's a perfect world out here and everything's all peaches and cream when it ain't. So anyways, that's my video right there. Like I said, I felt like I was retaliated against with the big orange. And because of that, I've decided to go ahead and leave. You know, I'm not interested. I've had drivers say, well, you know, just get a lawyer. I'm not interested in all that crap, man. It's not worth it to me. Because, I mean, honestly, if I would have got fired, then maybe, you know, I would have looked into it. But I'm making the choice to go ahead and leave. And so the next video will probably be showing y'all this truck cleaned out. I've cleaned it out already. Took out my refrigerator, microwave, everything. I mean, I'm done. So until the next video, guys, y'all be blessed.